Still doing okay for now. Hunted back, not ideal. Mounts up into the Herald. It's so big. What? He's a genius.
I'm going to clear Natalia.
Okay.
I'm winning 1v1.
Going. Can you get me? No flash on Natalia.
Finish that.
No win.
Nice! Let's get to it.
Nice.
I didn't do anything bad today.
Didn't do anything bad, and as a result, KC won the game. There was a bit more to it than that, but we have Upset here joining us after, you said, a dream Jinx game, actually.
A dream comeback Jinx game.
Yeah, okay, yeah, true. For most of it, it was actually pretty happy,
opposite of
probably.
the dream for
No.
40 minutes, I think.
No, you asked me how far were we behind. How far do you think you were behind in gold?
I mean, I just saw a little bit. We were probably minimum 8k behind, I guess.
Yeah, it was a 10,521 gold deficit at the largest point in time.
Jesus.
That's insane.
Big comeback.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
What enabled the comeback?
Well, Jinx is just really strong late on in the game, and I think my team managed to get some good engages on their front line. And when you get one reset, the fight swings heavily in Jinx's favor usually. And if it's like very late game, everyone has items, so it's much more about execution. And the enemy team was a bit too hasty, maybe trying to finish it. Maybe they could have played more for Elder or have somebody pressure our base while they go 4 people bot or something. So we just managed to scale, and my frontline managed to get good engages, like back to back, I think. Yeah.
So usually when you're like this far behind, it's very hard to, find ways to come back. Like, what were your comps like the last, 10 minutes of the game? Like, what were you guys talking about? How were you trying to set yourself up for the win?
I mean, mostly we were discussing if we should like leave our base or not. I think Closer and Vladi wanted to go contest Nash, and I was saying like, no, we will lose for sure if we go there. Let's just hope I can get my IE. And at the end it worked out, but mostly we just tried to farm, tried to not let them hit our Nexus, I guess. And then at the end, when we had to go for the Nash, because it would have been too much pressure, we just decided to group up and contest the objective, and we found a good engage.
I mean, I was frustrated watching it. I mean, I don't have a horse in this race, but if you look at MDK and kind of, you saw what they wanted to do, right? And you had such a target on your back, I'm sure, to them in their comms. And I think it was apparent. Did you feel like the switch was flipped after you got kind of back in the game, you got a couple of kills, you got your items, and you knew, okay, if I get in a semi-good position, I got this?
I mean, it didn't feel like we said we got this, but we definitely had a chance. Like,
yeah.
I think I said, like, when we were all our inhibs, we have like a 10% chance to win this game if we don't leave our base now and I can get my E, and I guess we hit the 10% today.
You did. You did. Overall, how much of a relief is it knowing that, KC has so much weight on your shoulders? Everyone's looking at, can they make it to the top 3? And then you, of course, unfortunately lose your first game in a really sad fashion, I think. So how much of a relief is it that with the new lineup, you got this win on the board?
I mean, honestly, we're doing really, really well in practice. And I think we are a lot better now, but the stage pressure is always pretty, changes a lot how every team plays, I think. And I think we are affected maybe the most in the difference so far from the 2 games. So I think it's really about getting these kind of moments where we manage to get a win, even if it's not pretty, even if it's like a pretty ugly game for us. It's just important to build some confidence on stage, playing together as a team, because we're pretty new, right? We have 3 new players on the top side. And I think if we get more comfortable playing on stage together and the basics of the game, I think we have really good players.
I also think from a viewer point of view, you guys have already improved a lot. Like, this comeback obviously was great to see, but also yesterday versus Fnatic, you actually had a lot of opportunities that were great in the early game. You could have won the game if a couple of things went differently, and I think now getting to that point where there's already a lot of synergy so early in the process. Like, imagine when everybody's fully on the same page, it's going to be a strong team.
True. I was a bit harsh on them this morning in Ready Check, but I take it all back.
I didn't watch, so it's fine.
It's fine. The key player of the game is Kana. Now, he's had some oopsies in lane. But it's about how you play the team fights, right, Upset?
Yeah, that's right. He had some really good engages later on, I think. Yeah. He managed to kill LB on bot 2 when she had like a 1k shot on. And I think our coach needs to draft him some carry champs. I don't ever want to have him on a Gragas Cassandra matchup again, if possible. But he still managed to make it work. And clutch the game in the end, I think.
Oh, I love it. Now also other laners advocating for their top laners. You, of course, didn't see this because you were playing, but the casters did kind of, based on your legendary tweet that I couldn't find for some reason. The excerpt engine.
I have to say, this tweet was actually, I actually didn't tweet this tweet in the first place. It was actually Vanda who went to my PC and tweeted this. This is the origin story of this tweet.
But it's kind of part of your legacy now.
I mean, I tweeted it one time more, but just as a meme after we won a game versus them, like, but it was just for fun. But I actually didn't come up with this tweet.
Well, you know, we're still going to pretend like... I mean, I like it. I like the extra lore that is being added to this tweet. But we did kind of the world knows. But yeah, we did the scale, passive, heads up. I think you hit both because in the end, you won the game, right? So that's very, very good. We're going to talk about Fnatic versus GIANTX, and we're going to head into the picks and bans as well. You just played them yesterday, and as said, you had your chances in that game. But how do you feel about Fnatic overall?
I think Fnatic's draft yesterday was really good. I think the Ivern threw us off a little bit, so we banned it today as well. And I don't know, we gave them like a very, very good Poppy angle, and I think Fnatic is the best Poppy team in Europe because they play it on jungle, top, and their support also plays it a lot in solo queue at least. I don't know if he will pull it out. So I think it's important for Fnatic that you don't give them like the full comfort style. I think they're very, very good when Oscar has like a frontline champ, Humanoid and Noah on like a scaling carry, and Juhan and Razork are playing really, really well together, I think, now. So this is something to look out for, I think, from playing against them yesterday. If
they have their picks, they are on point. They have been already. And GIANTX then Broxah, of course, there was a lot of chatter about, you know, the top lane and the Antonio coming in for Odoamne and what he could bring. So is that something you have your eye on in this draft as well?
Oh, I think definitely the top lane is a very interesting one. Overall, one thing that I was missing yesterday from GIANTX was them being on the same page. It was really obvious that they were a new team, both in the early game, in terms of how their jungle, mid, support trio played together. You saw some of the team fights that they were just doing entirely different things. And that's an area that's going to be difficult against a team like Fnatic that just, you know, it's coming back to Europe after an MSI.
Yep. We'll see if there's as much focus on the top lane bans. Not for now. We've got Rumble, LeBlanc, and Ashe. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, right now in the meta, you will see a lot of Rumble, Skarner bans. These champs that are really, really strong. Maybe Senna will be targeted as well, but I think Fnatic doesn't have too much prior on Senna, judging from yesterday, and I don't really know if Giants wants to play it either. Okay, yeah, there's the Skarner ban. It's very normal.
From an AD carry point of view, like, I know there's different styles and all that you can dive into right now, but you know, if you were on, let's say, GIANTX sides going up against Fnatic, what would be your focus points? Like, how would you try to set yourself up for success?
Well, I think Giants isn't that good as a team yet for closing out games and really playing that snowball style. So I think usually you want to aim to have a little bit more scaling on your side. I think champions like Jinx can be really strong, but on the other hand, there's always two sides, right? You don't want to give Fnatic maybe a strong Kalista and just get run over early. So in AD carry role, I think there's a lot of variety right now. You can still play the champs like Varus, Kalista, the more Draven, the more early game focused champs, but the crit champs definitely are a lot stronger now. You feel like in the game, when you hit your items, you actually have this old feeling of, yes, now I can carry fights and you're really strong. So I'm curious to see what they're going to choose, definitely.
You're saying it's a fun time to be an ADC?
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes.
When you have items, I guess.
Yeah, then it's fun. DF ban, expected as well, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a power pick, and Giants also showed to ban it yesterday, I think.
I'll just say GIANTX so they don't get mad at you after.
GIANTX, yes.
So we don't get an email.
Well, Corki has been insta-locked, a champion that was touched on earlier. Senna, that is still open and remains an option. Varus is something they could consider, like Upset mentioned. Jinx as well. Now the question really becomes, you know, what are they going to do? Are they going to look for something like, let's say, a Hwei that is still available for the jungle, or do they just lock in a safe support like Nautilus with the AD carry right away?
Is this obviously flexible, right? This Corki, also for Fnatic?
Yeah, Corki gives you a lot of options because you can play mid, and that means also that your jungle can play AP champs because he's full AD now, but also he doesn't have like he's very strong in lane as well on bot lane, so you can always just put him bot too. So it will be interesting to see if Fnatic wants to put Razork on an AP carry or if he plays more of the utility champs that he usually chooses.
Yeah, I think for GIANTX not knowing yet where the Corki is going to go makes sense to take the Hwei. Both to deny it from Razork, it's one of the champions he's always been great at, but also just get the jungle prior pick. Ivern, a very good response into the Hwei. We can already see on GIANTX's side they're going for a comp that's going to have a lot of hard engage, and now, well, this is pretty much Ivern's comfort zone. You drop a bunch of shields and heals on whoever they engage on, and that person is most likely not going to die at this point.
Yeah, and it also gives them a lot of scaling. It will put pressure on GIANTX to win this game earlier, because Ivern will definitely scale very, very well in a game like that.
So right here, you now know Corki is going bot lane. What do you think GIANTX are looking for the AD carry position?
Well, I think Senna is obviously pretty strong in the meta since MSI and even before that, so I think it's a decent champ to pick here. Otherwise, yeah, there you go. Otherwise, you could go for something else scaling, like maybe a Jinx, and just try to match the front to back more.
So now, for GIANTX, they already see the mid matchup. They will most likely look into setting up their top lane position here, putting the Antonio in a very comfortable position against Oscar, denying some of the good blind picks like a Camille perhaps from Oscar. Something else they could look into is denying the Poppy that was so good for Fnatic yesterday.
Yeah, Oscar reminded me also that, of course, they know each other really, really well, and apparently they have some beef, but I couldn't find it. Again, the search engine on X is trash, so I really like to see that trash talk. He said it wasn't that spicy, but, you know, Spanish matchup, they're probably looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, the Antonio definitely is looking to pick a tank, I think. It's kind of his signature style, and you can see from the bans as well. They're banning the TF 1, 2, 3, they're banning Camille now. They want to have a safe matchup for the tank where he doesn't just get outscaled and loses his lane.
Yep.
Well, speaking of interesting, they decide to get rid of Gesande. Presumably, it's because they're going to pick something else in 4, logging their mid laner, save last pick for the Antonio, and they don't want Oscar to take it away on 4-5. This also does limit the top lane pool quite a bit already. Now, all of a sudden, we're in territory with Poppy, Renekton, maybe a Jax or Udyr. Could be a potential spicy counter as well coming in.
Yeah, and on support, Fnatic is probably looking for Rell. It's like the most standard champ you pick into Nautilus, and they also have Ivern, so you're kind of looking for a melee champ, I think. Oh, Varus.
Ooh,
Varus mid, I guess.
Varus mid lane.
Okay.
AP Varus mid.
I mean, technically, people are playing it top as well in solo queue at least. So maybe even
Antonio Varus top.
That'll be spicy. That'll be real spicy.
So doing me Nautilus mid? No. No, probably not.
Varus Senna bot, Nautilus mid, perfect.
Probably not. There, the Rell, as telegraphed, probably coming in as well. But this throws does this throw enough of a wrench in the works to kind of rectify this draft?
I mean, I guess the thought process potentially that Hwei has very, very high range, and you are looking to match it with something on mid lane that also has high range, and it also gives the Antonio the opportunity to pick an AP top laner if he would go the lethality poke build, but he could also go the AP Varus build where he plays to one-shot the tankier members of Fnatic. So I'm not sure. I have not seen a Varus mid for a very long time, I think.
One thing that I do like about their comp is that they have a lot of go buttons. Like anytime Nautilus via Varus versus R, everybody knows to just dive in right away, and their lack of synergy, because they still are a relatively new team with the new lineup, won't matter as much. Everybody's going to know their job within the comp. The question then becomes whether they can actually ever kill the backline of Fnatic, but time will tell.
Time will tell, indeed. We'll see the last pick locked in on the side of GIANTX, which does confirm that the Varus goes mid, probably.
Very, very likely.
I don't know.
Maybe on mid.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what Varus is going to build. I feel like he's kind of forced to go AP. I don't even know if that build is still viable, but if they're really full AD against Ivern, Rell, Renekton, I think it's going to be hard to kill the frontline for GIANTX. So
you would expect they thought about that. But then again, we see full AP comps, we see full AP comps, so...
I mean, there's some Varus players still going AP in solo queue. Whether or not it's viable enough for the LEC,
yeah.
I can't say
know
for
what?
sure.
Broxah,
I hope we're gonna find out.
after the play the last 2 days, I don't know what the hell is viable in the LEC. Like, it's been a bit of a circus. Sorry, upset. Who wins, Fnatic or GIANTX?
whoever will win will probably lose the game.
Okay.
It's the current trend, so...
Well... or you could be winning. Yeah, exactly.
I can appreciate that logic.
That's exactly what he said. What is it that Skara said? Up until we lost the game, we were winning.
Yes.
And that's what we're going with. Let's head over to our casters.
Confidence inspiring from the desk. The Skara thing. They're winning up until they weren't, or until they lost.
It's going to be a lot of people in solo queue today being like, do you think KC gave up when they lost 2 inhibitors?
Oh my god, Magic Felix is going to be unbearable.
No, we will not FF.
I have to see how it shakes up. It's time to get in the game. GIANTX versus Fnatic. There's Varus in that mid lane. And there's some all chatting happening, but in a language that I don't speak. Juhan says Anyang, which is Korean, and then there's some Czech being traded back and forth between Jackies and Humanoid, so.
I know that something about draft.
Something about, yeah.
So let's find out. Let me go click on
Germany OTP. we're just trying to read Czech, guys. I don't speak Czech, I don't know. We're just trying to figure it out. I don't want to Google Translate because I'm afraid of what I'll find. But the fans in house, we got some GIANTX fans. Obviously have some Fnatic fans here as well. And we've got Comet coming in for Jackies, which seems like it's probably
could mean
lethality.
Anything.
I mean, it actually could mean anything because Doran's Blade Start would probably be right regardless.
Not that
right?
uncommon, yeah. But I don't know, we'll see, man. Truthfully, I'm kind of in line with Upset. I don't know. I don't know what build Jackie's going to go for. I think that if you do go for AD, I very much agree with Upset that, sure, I see the range argument for GIANTX, but the scaling element I don't love. Yesterday, I felt like that they didn't have enough damage. Today, I'm still concerned about how much damage they have.
Yeah, it's really important if you want to draft these Senna Nautilus lanes.
Also, I just think that, like, Ivern into anything that wants to dive, like Vi, is just really good.
I think if enemy team picks Senna and you get Ivern, you're just living your best life. Like, it takes so long for this champion to deliver in terms of AD carry damage profile. Maybe Jackies can make up the difference there. And obviously the champion has a lot of strengths. Makes the Nautilus a lot stronger, and IgNar, when he's allowed to be that engaged threat, has looked damn good.
Keep your eyes on Razork here. Has already started putting his passive down around the jungle. You can see on his side of the map that there are some camps cleared, but he knows, based on the ward that was dropped on the blue buff, and also the fact that Juhan was level 2, that the Raptors were taken, and that he can actually steal away this red buff easily for him. Well played. Now he can move back through his jungle, and he can start clearing up his camps. Juhan, I'm not sure if he's aware of this, because Razork did actually walk through the mid lane, but I don't know if he was actually spotted on any vision. So Juhan may have been caught completely unaware.
He's not going for the invade, of course. It's such a hard decision to make to go into the Ivern jungle, right? Very likely that most of the camps are taken away, and if not, they're already marked, so.
Yeah, exactly. So you walk in.
If he has a smite charge, he immediately takes the camp,
okay.
right? So we'll walk away. We'll eventually find out that the red buff is missing, and Fnatic likely to spot him on that ward as he moves up towards his rafters. Razork now hitting level 4. Nice early clear pacing coming through for the Ivern.
Juhan's
and this is going to be a very sad vault breaker. Oh, there's nothing there.
And look at this back as well for Razork. Level 4. All the camps cleared. Well, he's dropped a mark on his Krogs. Are they shouting, "Where is it?" That's original. I like that.
I like that too. I think they know now, though. That's the one thing I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they have carefully deducted. You know, Vi, and she's a police officer. She's done the math. Enemy jungler probably has it. Oh, but the engage on bot side. Good look from Joan. A lot of damage coming in for Noah already. Patrik forced to back away. Root will be solid to kick things off, but Razork still coming forward. The Root still hits, and IgNar gonna get taken down. Noah gonna finish off the job with a Foss Bomb and first blood for Fnatic.
It's a nice play from Razork. Patrik and IgNar on the bounce back of the wave have to push that wave underneath the tower, which means that Razork is in a great position to find a gank. The flash in from Jun. Really nice cleanse from Patrik to disengage from the fight, but it doesn't matter. As IgNar ends up falling for first blood.
Yeah. And if they didn't know where the red buff was before, they know where it is now. Good early gank from Razork. Did have to burn his flash there, but not going to feel too bad whatsoever. IgNar forced to TP back to lane.
The only downside for Razork is he will lose both the Scuttle Crabs, but in the grand scheme of things, that's really not the end of the world. who's been able to find an early gank on Ivern, which not the easiest thing to do, but they make it work. Also, we're seeing the power of Rell more and more here in the LEC.
Yeah, Rell just feels like such a reliable champion. Obviously, Nautilus is considered the universal safe line pick, but I also just think that, you know, Rell just offers so much. That angled engage to hit multiple targets. Nautilus a little bit more easy, a little bit more reliable in a lot of circumstances, but when Rell finds those big moments, as we saw in a lot of the previous games today, LeBron, you know, incredible engage. No follow-up on his 5-man engage, but did manage to find the 5-man. See if it could be a similar state here for the side of Fnatic. Patrik locked up briefly. They're trying to usher him out, but Jackie's level 6, immediately going to ult. Quick dash back from Juhan. Aftershock proc will now fade away alongside the bone plating. They probably can't finish the kill here. Good sidestep from Juhan. Clean movement, trying to sidestep on the Q. Damage from Jackie's is good, sizable, but just not enough to finish the kill.
No one needs to be careful here because GIANTX will know that he's isolated on the bot side of the map. His wave is in a bit of an awkward spot. He doesn't have the level 6 yet to farm from safety, but it looks like that wave is going to push into him and he's going to play it safe. Smart from him, with Juhan in the area as well. Not that he knew that, there was always the risk of a potential gank, so he needs to play that safe. Oscar, though, taking full advantage of this matchup in the early laning phase. You can already see he's built up about a 2-wave lead over his lane counterpart. And Fnatic, they're playing with pressure pretty much all across the map. You can see Humanoid with great poke coming out in the 1v1. And the bot lane finding that kill earlier means that all things going the way of Fnatic here in this early game.
Yeah. And obviously for the Hwei, as long as he's got the mana, his kit just a little bit more flexible, but Jackie's still walking up to try to find the all-in. Varus damage still gross. Yes, heavily reliant on landing the Q, on getting those marks down, but if you ever do hit it, big damage to be traded back. Humanoid getting lower and lower. If this one hits, he's probably dead. So he's just gonna back up. Feels it. There's the wind on his back there, but Razork already taking the objective here, so trade across the map, Dragon for 3 grubs. After that first kill, things have slowed down a little bit.
Energy still here for the crowd, though. Oscar committing the ult.
Ulti, second dash in, stun onto the Antonio.
Looks like he just wants a bit of health back, maybe also to push out this wave so he can get his, I say his base off. He has, of course, already invested in the Phage. I'm keeping my eyes on Juhan in mid here.
Juhan level 5, Humanoid no mana. Ooh, the Q flash! Nice play overall, just as he ticks over to level 6. We'll see if he tries to make a follow-up play happen on the bottom side because Noah's already getting aggressive onto IgNar. Clean kill in the mid lane for Juhan. Balanced out by Fnatic in the 2v2 in bot lane.
I mean, that's just a straight-up 2v2 kill. Humanoid overstays his welcome in the mid lane, and Juhan's able to find a kill. But as you rightly said, Noah and Juhan making their early lead count as they continue to find advantages in this bot lane.
And look, Noah's doing great, but this is just a reminder, Corki with his Halo Blades is such a power pick. There's a reason it's been so highly prioritized, especially on day 1. It's just, you cannot trade against this champion.
Pickaxe already.
IE, just straight IE.
Yeah, he's looking
just
to grab
wants
that
to
very
crit
early.
him.
Oh yeah, I mean, Medic and I were joking about it yesterday. It feels like the Corki players just show up and they spin a wheel as to what they're going to buy for this
what
game.
do I want?
Because we've seen, you know, you can kind of build whatever you want.
You got a collector, you get a 1 Dirk now. You used to get 6 Dirks. Very easy. More Dirks than we could ever handle, most certainly.
Infinity Force, Infinity Edge, all sorts of options. But it looks like Infinity Edge will be the priority for him. But that looks like the Thalli Varus.
You know what? I can at least at this point, Mr. Day, say that it's probably not AP Varus.
Well, because even the AP build did have Muramana.
True.
So you'd go like, from what I remember, you go Muramana, you'd go the Nash's Tooth.
Nash was first a lot. There was a lot of different variations over the time where it was popular.
Because there was like a Death Cap type build too, where you went like Death Cap relatively
There's Nasher's
early.
Death Cap. There was Muramana on hit. Nasher, Muramana. It was weird.
Yeah.
Varus is a weird champion.
As far as I can tell, this looks like a Lethalli Varus to me, which does raise alarm bells because Armor's really good against full AD comps down at Drakos.
Is that how that works?
Yep, that's how that works. Huh? You know, I watched this really funny clip from August where he was talking about how like everyone kept building QSS against Zed because it removed the death mark.
Yep.
But the thing about Zed is he just does AD damage. And so he was like,
so we build armor.
So we removed that. Oh, hang on.
Oscar?
Is it fine? Yeah. So we removed that component that you can QSS the Zed ult, and win rate against Zed went up because people just started building way more armor.
Yeah, it's only like a 30% damage amp. So if you just buy
loads of
a
armor.
chain vest, you're like there. You've like reduced the damage amp.
So I thought that was funny. But yeah, so moral of the story.
Armor good.
Build some armor here.
Build some armor. Ivern shields benefit from that armor. Love that that's how that works. So gonna be pretty easy for Oscar if he does just manage to pick up some early armor. Obviously more focus on the items that he needs for lane, but as we approach second and third items for the Rell as well, gonna be pretty easy. Good news is, of course, if you can burst through that Ivern shielding, Corki's not gonna build an armor item. Humanoid can build the Seekers, but it's probably pretty far away. So the point of the game where you really feel punished.
Opportunity, he's definitely going lethality.
But we'll check in again.
We'll
Don't worry, if there's an Nashers, we'll know.
Oscar
Forge got called, double dash from Oscar, angle a little bit off from the Antonio, but the entire team here to follow up, here to punish Oscar. Q forward, nice flash out. Juhan thought he had the read, but just completely misses.
That was a game of chicken there, and Oscar was willing to play. Juhan didn't have the flash. I wonder if he knew that, because his patience paid off. He gets away with his life. He will lose the grubs, but look at all these plates getting funneled into Noah. Of course, that 2k gold lead is a little deceptive because it's matched up against Patrik, who hasn't been farming this game, but what I can tell you is that this Corki is getting very strong and he's going to have an infinity edge on his base.
I mean, if he pops the coal too, he might have an infinity edge, boots too, to back it up.
I mean, that's a big buy, actually. I can just check how much gold he's sitting on. Right now, it's 1.7k, about to cross over to 1.8, especially if he gets this extra wave and the tower.
Remember, tower, first blood.
He's going to get the gold here too, right? I mean,
oh, but this man's just making money.
So you get the first tower blood too.
This is just the Wolf of Wall Street right here.
How much is this? This is what?
There he is.
725.
Yeah, that man's got money.
Yeah, he's got 3,000 gold.
Yeah. Yeah, the crowd is cheering. He's rich as hell.
So let's see what he spends his money on. Oh, I get it.
Well, Santander's coming in to remind us first turret, 300 gold, very important. But now
here we go. What's the big reveal?
Where's the money going? The Gucci bag.
The Gucci bag.
What's he got? Oh my God! What the heck is that?
Last Whisper Infinity
Last
Edge.
Whisper, i.e. some brown bags.
We've all done that where like we press tab and then you go to your AD carry. How does enemy Corki have Infinity Edge plus Last Whisper?
All right, well there's a TP coming in the top lane. Varus is about to be here. They're really determined to shut Oscar down, of course. Now he's got no flash in the back of the previous play, but Jackie's hits.
Yep, nice damage there from Jackie's. Oscar, if he could have just moved, there's a world where he could have killed Jackie's there, but the CC was more than enough to keep him locked down, which means that at the very least, GIANTX will get something back. But they find themselves at a 3k gold deficit. Fnatic are likely going to get their first dragon of the game, and Noah really is the star of this show right now.
Noah's their rich friend.
Yes.
Noah's the guy at K Barbecue buying for everybody right now.
Rounds are on him.
Another round of pork belly right there. His Corki is so rich. And remember, if you've missed like all the changes to Corki, I think the simplest way to describe it, if you didn't watch the Freak breakdown video, is like early to mid game, this champion, insanely powerful. The later you go, the harder it is to get that same like burst, reliable damage out, because you know, his tankiness doesn't keep up as you get later.
Right.
His range doesn't keep up with a lot of these champions you get later in the game. The rockets are more reliant on landing autos than they used to be. But right now, this is when Corki is strong. And not only is he strong on paper, he's stacking paper. He's double strong right now.
Stacking paper.
So if anyone, Jackie's included, walks up to this Corki, he probably dies.
He's about to take over to level 10 as well.
Here's the question. Is a 2-level difference enough to keep Jackie's alive if Corki goes all in? I don't think they're not going to do it because this is not solo queue or arena. They're probably going to wait for their teams and look for a better angle.
I mean, I will say, looking at the itemization right now, Fnatic, the only armor I see is on Jun right now. I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit more as the game progresses, but right now, this Varus can still definitely hit hard. But, top tower secured now for Fnatic as well. They're just slowly but surely extending their lead just from their laners, really. Oscar, he's been ganked twice, he's lost his life once, has a 1.3k gold lead. Like, he's been doing a great job in isolation, and GIANTX are just, they're just losing the game.
I mean, it seems like You would argue that scaling is the angle. Of course, the armor concern is a very big one because, again, once Fnatic are in a position to start stacking it, things get a lot harder.
Here we go.
Engage onto Jun. Immediately the Ram God is called, and in the meantime, of course, Razork able to walk out to safety. Jun also retreating. Noah getting taken lower and lower, but it's Oscar. Double dashing over the wall. GX still standing tall. All their ultis burn. Jackie's waiting off to the side, looking for a good okay, pull back from Humanoid. Good. The Maw there. Severing Bolt. But overall, Fnatic win the fight a bit closer maybe than expected with the gold lead that they put together. I just think that Noah was not able to get involved.
Yeah, there's no real objectives on the map for either team to play for outside of the Heralds. And so there was a bit of a contest for that mid wave. Ultimately, though, both sides find themselves a little too low on HP to really convert any sort of advantage into the Herald. But a lot of summoner spells burnt. Flash gone from Juhan. IgNar going to lose both his flash and TP. Fnatic, though, actually largely unscathed. Didn't really have to commit anything off the back of that. So as we look forward to the Heralds, you can already see it making their way towards the top side of the map to set up for this next objective.
Jun coming to the mid lane. Noah, again, now 2 items completed. Lord Dominic's second. So if the Antonio was hoping to be tanky this game, not going to happen against Corki at the very least. But for now, GX holding their own in the mid lane fight. Did lose a decent amount here. Juhan's flash especially going to be one of the important ones. Jun, wandering in enemy territory, drops the ward. The ward, of course, immediately spotted. GX knows that there's someone in their jungle.
I talked about them committing topside, but they actually invest all their wards on the bot side of the map, wanting to provide safety for Humanoid to push out that wave. He's now done that. GIANTX now forced to go and catch that wave. Jackie's, of course, does have the teleport, but they can use this pressure that they generate to move into mid, guarantee numbers advantage. They've got information on where Jackie's is, and they can either use this to move into top river, or maybe even threaten this mid tier 1. They've removed a lot of the wave clear by just having Jackie's appear bot lane.
They just don't have enough people here from the side of GX. Fnatic get the push in, could have stayed for more tower damage, immediately opt to back off, and now finally we'll start up the Herald.
You can see the multi-step plan here being set up. I was a bit skeptical, but Fnatic showing us how it's done in terms of the setup control in from bots. There was a window where GIANTX maybe could have cross-mapped, but then what you're sacrificing is potential damage on that bot tier 2. So once GIANTX respond, it's easy for Fnatic to rotate, and Oscar's just doing a great job in the 1v1 up top. I don't expect him to get a kill, but he'll get himself a flash. So well played by him. The Black Cleaver doing some work.
Oscar doing a ton of work. 1.5k gold lead again, despite that death, despite the early attention, multiple ganks put down on the top side of the map.
And what I'll say about Fnatic is my biggest criticism from the first half of the year for them was the random fights that they would force. Inconsistencies in terms of how they convert their leads. They had this massive problem where like Noah could be super fed, he goes to catch a top wave and they force a fight 4v5 in mid. And like it happens so often, and not exclusively with Noah, but they have, what are you laughing at?
Sorry, I'm continuing down the Wolf of Wall Street metaphor. You know the scene where he's talking to his accountant? He's like, what do you mean you spent $26,000 on a meal? What do you mean you fought when you were in a winning position for no reason? It's like, tell him about the guy who was low. Tell him about the side. He's going in.
So that's my big observation for Fnatic this split, is going to be, can they stop forcing these random fights without 4-5 members? Right now, they're stacked to 5. They've abandoned the mid wave. They're going to move back in to control it.
Good severing bolt to force the backstep from Jackie's. Not in a good position to follow up. Noah can throw out a couple rockets here, but again, it's not the AP poke that we're used to seeing from Corki. Bit of poke there. Varus can hit on multiple members. Noah walks out of the range just in time. Jun healed up by the redemption. GX
poke is
continuing
good,
to poke. And I think the struggle for Fnatic, of course, is that at this point in the game, Jackie's really does hurt. He's got the Reaver as well. He's going to be able to take down shields. Serpent's Fang. Strong here, but the charge now coming in. Humanoid, the one who's mounted up, though, but the tower will fall, so he should be able to walk away. Good, well-timed root coming in from Patrik.
This thing gives them access into the mid wave. They've also got the bot wave pushing in their favor. Jun has been able to go back, has replenished his control wards, and is now back out onto the field. Looks like GIANTX are going to concede this one. It is, of course, only the third Drake of the game, and with 1-on-1 apiece, it's not something that they have to force a fight over. Patrick sitting at about 78 souls, not the worst, but Fnatic still in firm control of this game.
I'll also say that it doesn't feel like Noah has the trust fund that the scoreboard would indicate that he is sitting on right now. 4.2k gold lead, but I think the range right now from the side of GX, especially the Varus poke, has just made it so hard for him to get active in the fights. Of course, if he goes in, if he's aggressive, there's also the Vi and the Nautilus there waiting to punish. So despite the fact that he is monster fed. Outside of maybe an isolated 1v1 against one of the squishier members of the enemy team, he doesn't really have good angles to do much other than poke with rockets.
Oscar now maybe the target once more. You can see GIANTX running full steam ahead.
Knock up there, call the Forge God, dash back. Juhan finding the lockup. Varus gonna follow. Senna coming in as well, and Jackie's now on a killing spree.
Oscar choosing to hold on to his flash there, recognizing that it probably wasn't worth it. Fnatic trying to do something on the cross map. Humanoid pushing in top wave, mid being pushed in as well. But I don't really think they can convert it into anything. Vision will have to be the best they can get. Definitely not a bad thing to get with Baron alive. But a GIANTX can finally get their first tower of the game. Some much needed gold.
And credit to Jackie's, like, this is a really solid poke Varus performance, and I think he's using the CC of his teammates beautifully well. Very often, the reason that poke Varus, you know, as popular as it was domestically for us, had lackluster games, is you'd hit the mid game, you'd fire poke out with no upfront CC, you'd whiff your Q, and you'd do nothing for 8 seconds. And I think the beauty of having so much CC, so much setup on this lineup is it just makes it easy for Jackie's to hit, you know, these 1,000 damage Qs at 2.5 items.
I mean, ultimately, if the Qs connect onto the right targets, it doesn't matter if you're stacking armor as long as GIANTX play around their range properly. Because if they just try and force a full 5v5, I think they're going to run into the same issue that they had yesterday, which is that they won't have enough damage to actually win out on a fight. I think Noah and Oscar, as a duo right now in the current state of the game, is just so strong. And so GIANTX, they kind of want to leverage the fact that maybe they do allow Fnatic to start an objective first, but then they work with the objective to try and poke them off it. It makes it easier to land that poke when you know your opponent is kind of confined to a space like the Baron Pit or the Dragon Pit. But right now the priority is playing through Jackie's to make sure that he's safe to push out this wave. So they set their sights on the top tier 1. Fnatic, though, have set their sights on the bot tier 2. Smart play from Fnatic.
Antonio can choose to ult, maybe to try and delete the wave here, but instead he'll be happy for the 1-for-1 tower trade as Jackie's going to break down the tower in the top lane. Tier 1 for tier 2, maybe not ideal, but obviously 3 members there we can see on the side of GX. Hiding, waiting in the shadows, hoping maybe to catch someone out on the side of Fnatic if they overcommit or step up too soon.
It's Juhan to actually base first. He's the one that's going to go catch this top wave. But now Noah will follow shortly behind him. Armor boots picked up for him. Obviously make a ton of sense. And, yeah, another very slow and steady game. We've seen a lot of throws today, Drakos. We've seen teams in winning positions find themselves losing the game.
Are you implying that Casey wasn't in a winning position for the entirety of the last game?
I am, in fact, implying that, yes. I do not think that they had them right where they wanted them, believe it or not. Fnatic's in a good spot right now, but
I think the concern is if GX do win this game, and you're G2, you're sweating. Because that's a lot of upsets in one day. And they're not above dropping random games.
Last split. I think it was in spring, the day of upsets. Literally everyone that was not expected to win won.
Also, upset 1 today, which by default already makes it a little bit more of the day of upsets.
True.
So I'm saying it's there on the wall. Yes, the scriptwriters are getting lazy, but it's there. We've seen this episode before.
But also, start of splits, new patch, all the teams figuring out best meta, how to play, drafts, getting used to the stage again. It's one of the biggest times where we see consistency probably at its lowest.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I think that the scaling options do work so much more in week 1, and why things like the Corki maybe don't, as much as they look impressive in the first few minutes of the game, because they are so powerful, maybe struggle to function later in the game, is because, yeah, if you don't have the scaling, sometimes the teams, the execution just isn't there to close it out.
There is also a bit of a shift in summer. We are moving to 4 weeks of the regular season rather than 3. So this week will be a super week, but then next week and the following few weeks will actually be 2-day weekends. So the teams will have a little bit more time to gel in summer. That extra week could make all the difference, a little bit more time to figure out a plan. See which teams can take advantage of that, as some are very important, obviously, for qualifying for the season finals. With points the way that they're at, and your ability to qualify by securing top 3 in summer, securing spot in season finals, that's the only way you're going to get to Worlds. Season finals will determine our top 3 seeds.
And remember that summer, obviously top 3 gets you there, but you also get a ton of championship points for high placements. So the potential, if you're a middle of the pack team, to redeem yourself with a decent placement here up against a team who's had higher placements in Winter Spring is likely. Jun starting the fight. The Antonio isolated off to the side. Juhan looking for Oscar. In the meantime, the Antonio just has to start running. IgNar trying to disengage in the fight. The Varus ultimate already used. Spiraling to spare a good bit of damage. IgNar still running, still leaving. Poke fired back, but Fnatic full control of mid lane.
I mean, this is a great example of how a full committal fight is just not going to work out for GIANTX. Jun finding that initiation, melted through the front line, forces the flash out. Humanoid getting TP'd on.
Turning Humanoid away. The Antonio.
It opens up the Dragon. He's going to be forced to base. He's going to have the TP available, though. Oscar's in the same boat, and it's GIANTX. I think they can kill this fast enough. The question is, can they get out?
Wants to go for the steal here, is close enough. GX have to be confident on the TP flank now coming in. 3K is getting lower. How much are they willing to bet on this fight? They're turning onto the backside and onto Jun in the meantime. Objective now taken away. Juhan managed to land this fight. The flash clear. Coming through from Oscar. Perfect. Dodges over a vault breaker. He didn't even need to see the Antonio running. Humanoid blinking health bar. But there is the Ivern. There is the shielding. And Fnatic finding the fight.
They do find the fight, and they can likely turn this into a Baron as well. GIANTX smart to use their poke to force Fnatic to go back to base, but the double TPs allowed Oscar and Humanoid to rejoin the fight, find a nice collapse, and you see what happens when Oscar gets his paws onto Jackie's. There's very little he can do to escape.
Hard to do, and again, clean from Oscar, flashes over the vault breaker. Patrik here, Juhan here, but now they've been caught out. Oscar gonna fall off with the stun. Patrik forced to cleanse out. But again, it's a slow take on the objective. That said, GX unlikely to face check again. They'll realize in a couple seconds how slow it was, and Juhan's now sticking around because he's like, wait a second, how long is this going to take? It will finally drop. Fnatic wearing purple on the back of a very good fight.
Yeah, we talk about the flank, and it's a really good one from Fnatic. They turn their attention onto Noah and Razork to keep them away from the pit, but I think the priorities there from GIANTX were just a bit mismatched. They didn't recognize the possibility for a flank. It's a really deep ward from Fnatic, so can't really blame GIANTX for not expecting that. But it sets Fnatic up beautifully to create this collapse. Jackie's has nowhere he can run to. The flashes are being spent to escape. And it means that with 2 members dead, Fnatic secure an uncontested Baron. 7K now the gold lead. Fnatic poised to go 2-0 on the weekend.
This is a position it's going to be incredibly difficult for GX, to recover from. Yes, Patrik is stacking souls. It'll feel good, but any form of engage followed up on by Humanoid or Noah will surely result in death. And on top of that, Oscarinin at 3 items. Do not be fooled by that 0-2-2 scoreline. This man has been a force to be reckoned with the entire game. And even now, trying to sniff out the flanks from Juhan, the angles that could be used to shut down this siege.
GIANTX trying to find an angle.
Patrik, big poke landing onto him.
Here comes Juhan.
Ornn coming in. Juhan going over the wall, looking to shut down Noah. Noah now going to be in trouble. Blinking health bar, but Antonio can't do it on his lonesome. So Juhan goes in, but again, the shielding. Disgusting from Razork. Buys far too much time. 3 members standing strong from Giant. Severing Bolt connecting onto IgNar. Fnatic losing 2. Traded back for 2 on the top side of the map. But the tier 2 dropping in favor of FNC.
It's a good engage from GIANTX. When you're at a deficit, going even is a great position to be in. But these objectives are still going to fall. They don't quite have the resources to keep them all alive. And another tier 2 will follow. Oscar needs to be careful.
Jackie's does good damage. Oscar, as Hysteric's passive popped, he will just die. My God, Jackie's finishing him off.
I mean, Jackie's does good damage, but Fnatic just do more. Like you can see, nice chain CC onto Noah, but the redemption, the shielding, he's also got the shield bow for the extra shielding on top of that. He survives way longer than he should have. The shutdown goes over to Jackie's, but because he does, Fnatic is able to still make it an equalized fight. Of course, Oscar overstays on the top side, meaning that we're now 6-6 in the kill score. Jackie's finding all 6 of those kills, and credit to him. His debut at the beginning of the year, so far he's having a great split so far, but it's not really converting into wins for GIANTX, and they find themselves once again in a massive deficit with the Dragon spawning in a minute and a half.
If he wins this, is he the best lethality Varus in our league?
Maybe. It's a bold statement to make.
Because I feel like
the summer.
Yeah, look. That's what it's all about.
Well, he's thumbs upping you right now. He likes the compliment.
I feel like, yeah. Bring the scale back up.
Don't bring the scale back up. I don't have a Jackie's head.
Fnatic are looking for one, though. Again, the slow siege setup.
Or dark
Two
twist,
Drakes
I like
to two.
that.
Yeah, you like that? Little decapitation reference. Get the people going.
The contest over the mid wave once more. So the tried and true battle.
When in doubt, ARAM it out. Of course, topside wave starting to stack. Bot wave will start to bounce.
I think it's pushing in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah.
Dragon's still 30 seconds away though, so likely going to be another wave. Trying to keep Daisy alive, but she is not long for this world.
All right.
Farewell, Daisy. Oh, that's a cute wave.
We're squaring up. Get ready, fans. Big fight. Juhan, is he going to go for it? All of GX backing off. Juhan, the lone flanker,
Look
left
at the
standing.
positioning of Patrik though. It's literally like he's two armed bodyguards of IgNar and the Antonio.
The big boys. Are they going to face check?
That poke.
Root onto him. Juhan immediately going to find the engage onto 3, but the follow-up isn't quite there. Massive damage onto Patrik. Good poke coming through. And the Antonio looking for the angle isn't quite going to hit onto Humanoid. Humanoid out of the fight. Blinking health bar. Can still try to rain down a bit of poke. Jax continues to hit the arrows. Juhan getting lower and lower. It's a slow, steady fight, but it's exactly what GX wants so far. They can't afford to get turned on. Noah is powerful, but the root manages to connect. The follow-up damage, however, is not there. All of Fnatic retreating. Juhan with the wraparound. Juhan looking for the miracle flank.
Humanoid trying to go back to base and do the TP play once again. Oscar has his available, but he's very slowly healing up. He can't afford to face check that.
IgNar going to TP back in. Humanoid going to TP back in.
Dragon not been studied yet. Juhan stuck in the pits. He needs to get out of there.
What is the angle? This is such a messy fight. IgNar incredibly tanky. They're throwing Daisy into the pit. Good. Juhan's still low. Celestial opposition taken out. Oscar off to the side, but the turn. They have to be careful not to get caught in the choke, but now it's Oscar who has to flash. Good damage coming through. Severing Bolt to spot them out. Fist already taken down. And now he falls. Perfect start for GX. Fnatic are going to try to focus down the objective, try to get something back here. GX need to get more. Juhan desperate to get in the pit. Razork already on the way out, and it's the Antonio on the flank. Unstoppable, goes in, finds the knockup, and GX descend upon them. The arrow over the wall, the root, and target Yankees unstoppable.
It's still 3 members dead on the side of GIANTX though. A huge ultimate from Humanoid. Noah gets a double kill. The objective goes to GIANTX. They put themselves at soul point, and they showcase in the extended fights. This poke is doing some serious work. This time GIANTX is way more aware of the flank. They're cautious of the fact that Oscar is missing on the map, and now they spot him out. They immediately turn their attention. This does expose the dragon, but Fnatic is in two sorts about whether to commit to it. Now they started off, Oscar ends up falling, but IgNar is still in the area. And now look at Fnatic. They realize in a 4v5 they have to disengage. They flash over the wall from Razork, the jump from Juhan. But then it's actually the Antonio that uses the Hex Gate to get the knockup. The damage from Noah and Humanoid is huge. But Jackies finds the snipe of his own. Only 2 members on Fnatic end up falling. But 8-1 and 0 now for Jackies.
I don't know the name of the guy in the background of the GIANTX room who just rubbed his hands together and then did the shrug. You're my hero. Great reaction. Siege now continues in the mid lane. Jackies is scary. Full build lethality Varus.
Full build, yeah. He is extremely strong. He is Flame Horizon Humanoid.
What?
Yeah.
He's Chobying and he Flame Horizon? It's forbidden. It's not supposed to happen, Betty.
Well, he's doing it. Right now, he is having a great game, and he might be the turning point for GIANTX. An upset against Fnatic would keep the trend of today going.
For GX?
Are trying really hard to find just the right fight, but that Juhan hasn't been able to find the angle.
I just think it's so hard to play Corki in these late game fights. A stiff breeze will kill you.
Senna's at 132 stacks now as well. The scaling's only going to get better.
And as Jad always says, 140 stacks. The break point.
That's the ult.
Spiraling Despair. IgNar going to isolate himself. Jackie's still fine. They haven't taken away the Edge of Night. Really need to pop that spell shield. The up front poke, not too reliable. The Antonio getting eager to kick things off. Humanoid pokes good damage, and he goes down! It was the pillar from the Ornn to finish the job. The lethality bars, this is terrifying. Jackie's off to the side. The engage now coming through. Noah trying to find the 1v1. Noah trying to pop him. The damage from Corki is massive, and finally the shielding is there. Instantly he retreats back into the raiding arms of his team. Patrik getting lower and lower. Oscar body blocking for the carry there, and it's all now falling apart, but Juhan kills Noah. It's crucial for the side of GX. Traded back now. Oscar still standing. Support, jungle, top, together, trying to turn this play back.
It's a 2-for-1 overall in favor of GIANTX. They're keeping things interesting as their poke is doing serious work. Fnatic have to be careful about the overextension. But Fnatic just can't find the fights they want. Noah set that up very nicely. It cost him his life, but he dived onto Jackie's and he showed you how much damage the Corki can do onto the backline. We look back at this pick onto Humanoid. The poke starts here. Good damage onto Humanoid initially, the shielding doing what it can. But Jackie's is gonna land another very nice arrow just as the knockup comes through. The redemption isn't enough. It's a beautiful combo. And they find that kill. Fnatic though, even in a 4v5, say, you know what, we can still win this. Let's commit, and then look at Noah here on the flank. W's in, lands really good damage, forces the flash out from Jackie's, but that then sets up for Juhan to get onto the backline. I think Oscar should have turned his attention onto protecting his AD carry. If he had, maybe they could have actually turned this into a Baron with Juhan dead, but by prioritizing Patrik, he kind of left his AD carry exposed. Regardless, another one fight, I would say, overall in favor of GIANTX.
And maybe we see more of those confident moves coming from Fnatic where they're a bit more coordinated, where Noah, when he jumps in, is supported by that CC of his teammates, because he essentially jumped in to the 2 damage threats on the side of GX and was winning the exchange in isolation. So a bit of CC, another ability, could have been enough to finish off Jackie's. But now Fnatic with the setup on the objective. GX forced to face check, forced to walk into the darkness, using the Senna ult to get a bit of vision, but they don't see Jun. They don't see Humanoid. Crucially, the arrow from Varus could try to steal it all away. Juhan goes in, but he doesn't get the job. Noah manages to get the objective, and the jungler goes down. GX risks the 50-50. They do not get the Baron. What else will they lose as Fnatic start their Red Bull Baron power play?
I'm surprised Fnatic actually took that flip. I think the smite came down at like 1700 HP, and then it must have been a crit or the burst from Noah to finish it off. But Fnatic now with the Baron, this should definitely make their siege easier. They've already sent Oscar to go and catch the bot wave. This dragon is important too to deny the soul. But with no Juhan, no smite, Jun looking for an engage.
Humanoid in trouble now. The poke is big. Jordan, the immediate follow-up. It's clean to the mid lane. GIANTX sticking around far too long. And Fnatic might use this wave to end it here.
I mean, Jackie's has to go back to base immediately, but 5 members strong. Juhan will respawn, but they've got the Baron buff and they have the Nexus in their eyes.
One last desperate hold. Jackie's in the Antonio here, but the poke, the Ivern makes this feel impossible. Oscar not even getting the chance to use a single ability, just wants to stop Jackie's from pressing Q, and he will succeed in doing so. Juhan cut down in the blink of an eye. Fnatic taking the win over GX and a 37-minute nail-biter.
A valiant fight from GIANTX. Their poke comp was proving difficult for Fnatic to find the engages that they wanted. Ultimately though, Fnatic just went straight towards the Baron. It ended up being a flip with which they won and converted into a quick win, but GIANTX definitely made Fnatic work for that.
Certainly. I mean, remember they spent most of that game at a massive gold advantage on the side of Fnatic. So the fact that GX kept it as close as they did, good sign on this team when you think of things to come. But today, of course, Fnatic, just a better team.
I mean, Jackie's definitely a player to watch for me this split. His Yone, he had some very cool highlight moments yesterday, even if he couldn't convert it into anything.
The TikTok combo, yes.
And again today, I think that his Varus was very impressive. Of course, it's not about Jackie's, it's about Fnatic. You can vote for your gear player of the game at LEC on X, Oscar, Humanoid, or Noah. All great candidates.
That's Oscar, Noah, or Jun.
Okay, well, what was in my script is different from what was on the screen. So you can vote.
He
you can
died
find
to
out
Ornn, he
at
lost
LEC,
it.
you can vote. In any case, we're going to go to a break. We'll see you for Game 5 right after this.
Red Bull gives you wings.